Hi, welcome to Drinkosaurus, where we take ancient cocktail recipes into the modern era. I'm your host, Matt. Let's get creating, actually. We're not going to be making any specific cocktail today. Instead, we're going to mix up the formula a bit, and I'm going to be challenged to make a cocktail out of 3 randomly chosen ingredients. For my challenge today, I'm going to have my friend go through my alcohol cabinet and pick out 3 random spirits, whatever catches her eye. I will pick at least 2 of them and walk you through the process of how I make a cocktail from that.
Do I just start looking?
So it looks like you picked out some things for me. Why don't you hand them over to me one by one, tell me why you picked them, and I'll give some information on what you actually picked.
So the first one I picked was this one, Chong Sam. I picked it because I read it wrong at first and thought it said Chongasm, so I thought that was funny.
So this is actually, I think, made in Rhode Island. It's made locally, I know. It is a liqueur based on tea. I think this one's made from Lapsang Souchong tea, which is like super smoky. So this is a low-proof spirit, not a spirit, a low-proof liqueur made from tea, smoky qualities, pretty sweet. Interesting.
So the next one I picked was Ginger of the Indies, because I like ginger. I've been on kind of a ginger kick.
Exactly as it sounds like. This is made in France. Giffard has a lot of different liqueurs that are different fruit flavors and stuff. This one's made out of ginger. It's not super gingery. It's more kind of sweet, but tea plus ginger is looking pretty good so far.
And the last one, I'm sure won't surprise you. I picked St. Elder, the Elderflower Liqueur, because elderflower is my favorite flavor of anything.
So this one as well is made pretty local. It's made in New England, I think. It is an elderflower liqueur. It's sweet. It has those flavors. Saint Germain is the more widely known elderflower liqueur. It looks like you picked 3 kind of sweet things, which doesn't surprise me. So what we'll do is I will see if I can make a cocktail out of these, and I'll walk you through the process. And hopefully it'll be something that you find palatable. Let's get going. Out of all the ingredients Danielle could have picked, these 3 aren't too bad. They're not the type of ingredients I usually mix with, but they complement each other pretty well, and I think I can actually include all 3 of them into a cocktail. The main issue is we don't have a spirit yet. So I think once I get a spirit and maybe 1 more modifier or bitter, I think I can make something out of this. Oh. Now that I've had a chance to look through my alcohol cabinet, I've pretty quickly settled on a spirit to use. This is an Icelandic spirit made from caraway seed. It's similar to vodka, but it has a bit more interesting flavors to it. I think it'll do well to kind of booze up this drink, but still keep the flavor of the tea and ginger, which is what I'm going for. In the theme of tea, I have a honey liqueur, which I got from Vermont. It is made from honey, tastes like honey, and surprisingly is 80 proof, which is the same proof as a spirit. So I might just add a little tiny bit of this just to kind of stick with the tea motif. Might not use it, we'll see. In addition, I have just a bunch of bitters. I feel like in order to tweak the flavors just right, I'll need some sort of bitter quality in here. The ones that I have are a hopped grapefruit bitter to potentially add some citrus to the drink. I don't want to add any lemon juice to it, so I think this could be a good compromise to get that citrus flavor. I have dandelion bitters, which have kind of a fennel-like taste. Finally, I have some spruce and birch bitters, and I honestly forgot what these taste like. So here's a little tip on how to sample bitters. You put a few drops in your hands, you rub them together, and you smell them. And these kind of have a more piney flavor, which I think, I don't know, just works well in tea. It's an herbal piece that'll go well. Finally, just as a backup, I have burr, which tastes similar to vermouth. This is a little bit higher alcohol content. It has more herbal flavors. I worry that the drink might be too sweet and not complex enough. This will definitely add some complexity. I'm just only having it as a backup. So with all of our ingredients, it's time to start experimenting with some ratios. Sometimes when I put a drink together, usually when I have the choice of all the ingredients, I have a template that I'm going to follow. In this case, I have no idea what ratios will work. So I'm going to start with the primary ingredient, which is always our spirit. And I'm going to put in an ounce to start. I might put in more, but an ounce is a good starting point. Because remember, whatever you put in, you can't take out. Next, I'm probably going to add a ½ ounce of our tea liqueur and ginger liqueur. Oh, let's get the close-up of that cork pop. Ooh. I'm going to opt for a ½ ounce of each of these. 1, to keep them in equal parts, and 2, not to overwhelm the spirit component yet. We may add more, just because I'm not quite sure yet which one's going to be overpowered, if any. So ½ ounce of ginger, ½ ounce of tea. So at this point, I'll taste what I have so far. This will give me a good sense if it needs to be leaned one way or the other. Honestly, right now it tastes pretty good. It's always tempting here to add more things, but you don't want to ruin what you have going. I do want to stay true and add that elderflower, but I don't know. It might ruin it a little bit. The elderflower kind of has a honey-like quality to it, so I might use just a bit of this in place of the honey liqueur, and that way I'll use all 3 of the ingredients that Danielle picked out. I'm going to do a rough pour here. I want a little bit less than a ½ ounce, just enough to give it a little bit of interest. Where's my little bitters? Oh. Furthermore, I'm going to add just a little bit of bitters too. Just a few drops. Once again, my goal is to get this a little bit more interesting. It's really tasty as it is, but I want to make it really pop. Once again, I'm going to give it a little taste just to see where we're at. I think we're almost there. I think from here, just adjusting the amount of each ingredient that we have will really get us to our ending point. So what I'm going to do is add another ½ ounce of our spirit, bringing us up to 1½ ounces total. I think I want to feature the tea more, so I'm going to add a ¼ ounce more of the tea liqueur, bringing us up to 3/4 tea. Gonna taste. After tasting, the tea doesn't quite come through enough, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. And it's just about there. Still a little flat, so let me just make sure I want to add more bitters, because that's kind of where my mind's going. What do these smell like? Yeah, let's add some of those hopped grapefruit bitters, just 'cause, and we'll stick with it and stand behind it. That's exactly what it needed. The citrus element just adds a little bit of brightness to the cocktail, which before was a little bit too mellow. So I think that's what our final mix will be. And just to review, we have about 1.5 ounces of Icelandic spirit, 1 ounce of tea liqueur, a ½ ounce of ginger liqueur, a little less than a ½ ounce of elderflower liqueur, a few dashes of spruce bitters, and a few dashes of hopped grapefruit bitters. All we have left to do now is add some ice, mix it up, pour it in a glass, and see how it tastes. Let's give it a mix. It's good. So it's really important to garnish your drinks, and the perfect garnish for this would be a nice little piece of lemon rind, but I don't have a lemon, so I'm actually going to leave it as is because putting in other citrus wouldn't really make too much sense. Let's give it a quick taste. Make sure it tastes good. Yeah, I think now that it's been chilled, the flavors have become a little bit more mellow. It's a pretty inoffensive drink. You can definitely taste the flavors, but they're very subtle. But for me, I like my flavors super bold, but I feel like Danielle will like the subtleness of the drink because it's very refreshing. So let me clear off the table, invite Danielle back over and see what she thinks. Welcome back.
Thanks.
This is what I came up with. I used all 3 of your ingredients, though I admit the elderflower liqueur it's in there, but it's not really like a star player, but it's a little bit of an accent. The only other ingredient that I added was a Icelandic spirit, which is similar to vodka, so it doesn't have like too much of a flavor to it. You don't like vodka?
Do you think I like vodka?
I don't know. So it mostly focuses on the tea liqueur that you picked out.
Perfect.
So let me know what you think.
Okay. Yes, I like this one.
Sounds like I forced you to say that. Yes,
No.
I like this one.
It's not very strong, which is the most important thing for me. But it has more of a, like, kind of fresh florally flavor, which I like. It's very poppy, the drink. I don't know, is the way I describe it. So, like, yeah, I like this. It's a good mix.
So we decided to call it the Teetotaler, which upon looking up what that term meant, which our director kind of just tossed that term out in the open, and we looked up what it means. And it means somebody who doesn't normally drink alcohol, which perfectly explains who this drink is for.
Yep.
So Danielle usually does not like very potent drinks. Pretty much all the drinks that I make on this show, whenever she takes a sip.
The face is like... Ugh.
Check out Danielle Tries Weird Things when she tries different spirits, because you'll see plenty of that.
Yeah.
This is a good example of really tailoring your drink to your audience. This is not the sort of drink that I would normally make. If I made it for myself, I would add a lot more bitter flavors to it. However, I know Danielle likes things a little bit more mellow, so this is something I made with her in mind.
Thanks.
No problem. Thank you for picking out those ingredients.
You're welcome. I tried to make it really hard, but... Oh, well.
Yeah, bet you did.
But Jen, you got that? Did you get that?
That's all for... Shut up. That's all for this episode. If you would like to see me put on the spot to make other cocktails from randomly selected ingredients, definitely let us know in the comments. Drinkosaurus is a production of Little Giant Monsters. If you would like to see more of the projects we're working on, go to littlegiantmonsters.com.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we now have a Patreon open, so if you'd like to support future projects, we would really appreciate it.
If you have anything that you would like to see me do, anything you're curious about, or any spirits you want me to mix with, let me know down in the comments, and I can try to incorporate it into future videos. That's all for today's episode.
Have fun creating.
And, most importantly, drink responsibly. You're driving, honey. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's good.